Okay, section 11.4 continued. We're going to talk about summation notation. This is our summation symbol. The upper limit is right here. Lower limit is right here. We would read this as the sum of the values of 4n from n equals 1 to n equals 3. So if we were to plug in 1 here, and it says sum, so we're adding, and if we were then going to plug in 2 and then 3, and again we started at 1 because that's our lower limit, and we stopped at 3 because that was our upper limit. So we want to know the sum of all those. So that would be 4 plus 8 plus 12, which equals 24. So for example A, it says for each sum, find the number of terms, the first term, and the last term, and then evaluate the series. So we'll do it one step at a time. First of all, we have to find the number of terms. And to do that, you start at the lower limit, which is 1, and you count to the upper limit. So you count 1, 2, 3, which means that there's 3 terms. Then you need to figure out the first term. They asked for you the first term. So that is when you get this and plug it in there. So instead of 5n plus 1, we're writing 5 times that n plus 1, and that would give us 6. So your first term is 6. Then they want to know the last term. So again, the last term is whatever our upper limit was 3. So we go to this equation, again, 5, and instead of n, we plug in our 3 plus 1 equals, and 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 equals 16. Then they say to evaluate the series, which means they want to know, again, just like we did up here, the sum of all the values from the lower limit to the upper limit. So just like we did this part here, we're going to do that here. So the first term we know is 5 plus, 5, and we have our 1 that we're plugging in, plus 1. That's the first term. We put that all in parentheses, plus, and then we have in parentheses again 5 times the second term, plus 5 times the third term. And although these are small numbers, if you want to use your calculator, you can. Then you would do parentheses 5, parentheses 1, close parentheses, because you plugged in a 1, plus 1, plus parentheses 5. Now we're going to plug in our 2, plus 1, close parentheses, plus, in parentheses 5, then plug in our 3, plus 1, close our parentheses. It tells us 33. We're going to circle 33 because 33 is our sum when we evaluated the series. Now for the second example, right here, for B, we're going to do all the same steps. Okay. So, first thing they ask for is number of terms. And again, do not make the mistake of assuming that 2 is 3 away from 5. You have to count them out, starting at 2. 2, 3, 4, 5. So you actually counted out 4 terms. So the number of terms is 4. First term, again, you're plugging in your lower limit. So don't just plug in the number 1. You need to know what your lower limit was, and in this case it was 2. So I'm plugging in 2 for n. So instead of n squared, it's 2 squared, which equals 4. The last term is the one on top, the upper limit. So we're plugging in 5 for n. So we're doing 5 squared, which equals 25. So that's how we got the last term. Now it says to evaluate the series. So starting with 2 and plugging in for n. So we would have 2 squared plus 3 squared plus 4 squared plus 5 squared. Each of those 4 terms ends up getting squared, which gives us 4 plus 9 plus 16 plus 25, which gives us 54. That is how you evaluate the series.